Let me move on to the next slide. Okay. Now, I hope everybody have now understanding of what is big data, and it's not only about the volume that we're talking about. We're talking about the variety and the velocity of the data as well, right? Now, that's the problem that we have. Now, what is Hadoop? So Hadoop is basically a platform, which basically helps you to solve these problems which we discussed earlier. Okay. Now, what does it contains? It basically contains processing platform for big data processing. That means if you have a huge amount of data, how to store the data, and then how you can use the MapReduce processing paradigm, right? We'll talk about more in details going forward, okay? But this is just to give you a quick overview on it. Some of the characteristics are, it's basically highly scalable. That means you can add more power to your cluster as you need, right? It's a completely hardware based. That means, if in your company you have some servers which is just lying down, you can actually go ahead and use those servers as well. Okay, it's an open source. I'll just go ahead and show you the history of the Hadoop as well, so that will give you a clear picture. But at the end, it's an open source. Apache is heading to that, and if you want, you can actually go ahead and look into the source code of it as well. And if you want to contribute to it, you can actually go ahead and join there, and you can actually contribute to that as well. Okay. So, being said, it's an open source. It's very low cost for acquisition and storage cost. Okay. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, Hadoop is basically well divided in two parts. One is it's SDFS, what we call Hadoop Distributed File System, and we'll talk about more in details how it basically works behind the scenes. And then the second part is a MapReduce framework. So once we have the data available on the SDFS, how actually, what the algorithms or what are the framework that is available to read the data out from the distributed system. But before we get into that, let me just go ahead and give you a quick introduction about, from where it comes, the history of the Hadoop.